Therefore, having girded your loins with truth, let's call it the belt of truth. He starts with the belt as the first aspect of armor. Why would he do that? Well, that's a very common place to start if you're a soldier. People wore tunics in those days, and you would have a tunic that was probably below your knees, typically. That was what gentlemen did. And if you were going to engage in war, that was the kind of clothing you would wear. You had to do something because you can't go into war with your skirt blowing in the breeze. This loose piece of material around your neck with armholes wasn't going to be an aid to any kind of success in battle. So the first thing they would do is put on a leather belt, a wide leather belt, pull up the hem and the edges of their tunic, turn it into some kind of a male miniskirt, if you will, so that it didn't encumber them and somebody couldn't pull it over their head and stab them, and that would be it. So they were covered with appropriate undergarments, but the first thing you did as a soldier when you knew you were going to face battle was get yourself in a position with your tunic that it was not going to be harmful to you. It was not going to be a danger. Girding your loins is an old expression. It appears in the Old Testament, girding your loins. It was a picture of preparation. For example, in Exodus 12, girding your loins to leave Egypt at the Passover time. It was a way to pull in the loose ends is what it's talking about. Gather everything up. Trim everything down. Get ready. And having girded your loins with truth is borrowed, interestingly enough, from the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 5 speaks of Messiah. Messiah, the branch, who will be empowered by the Holy Spirit, who will fear the Lord, who will judge righteously, who will slay the wicked. And it says of Messiah, righteousness shall be the belt of his loins, and faithfulness the belt of his waist. So in that case, it's a belt of righteousness and a belt of faithfulness. It's that pulls everything together as the Messiah goes to war. It speaks of Messiah's final readiness for the final conflict. He is prepared for battle. And what is the belt that pulls everything together? Well, in the text it says the belt of truth, or the girdle of truth. It could be content, it could be truth as such, sound doctrine. That's certainly important. But I think it's better understood, the term aletheia is better understood as truthfulness. Truthfulness. It is the idea that you're committed. There's no hypocrisy. You know there's a battle. You're ready for the battle. It's that notion that is conveyed in girding up your loins. For example, in Luke 12:35, we read, gird up your loins and keep your lamps lit, ready for the moment your master shows up. It's a picture of readiness to move, to be engaged in something that you need all the alacrity that you can have. Or in 1 Peter 1:13, having therefore girded your minds for action. Girded your minds for action. That's what it is. It's getting ready for the action. So that is what I see in the belt of truth. It's preparation. It's readiness. It's not so much the content of truth as it is truthfulness. It's used in the sense of the absence of hypocrisy, the presence of real commitment. Jude 3, earnestly contending for the faith. Hebrews 12, laying aside every weight and the sin which so easily besets us. All encumbrances are set aside. Or Romans 12:1, presenting yourself as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God. Or 1 Corinthians 9, where the Apostle Paul says that I don't beat the air. I fight as one who wants to hit my opponent. I don't want to be disqualified by a failure to be serious and committed to the battle. Just a page over in Philippians chapter 1, you can see it in verse 9, similar illustration. I pray that your love may abound still more and more in real knowledge and all discernment. Then verse 10, so that you may approve the things that are excellent, in order to be sincere and blameless until the day of Christ. It's about sincerity. It's about saying, look, this is the most important thing in my life. Paul talks about this in the language of 2 Timothy 2, where he talks about being a soldier, being a hardworking farmer, being someone who is entering in a race and is ready for the race and has no encumbrances and is highly trained. He also talks about it in 2 Timothy 2 when he talks about how you have to be a vessel, pure and cleansed for the master's use. So that's where we're starting. You need to make a commitment to this battle. That is obvious. That's presenting yourself as a living sacrifice. That's making your commitment to fight the battle with your whole heart. So that's the point of the belt. You pull in all the loose ends of your life. You understand the seriousness of the war, and you're all in.